If you like this video, why not subscribe? Hey everybody, welcome back to the Frugal Filmmaker. Today I'm going to talk about a Frugal Cage, or a inexpensive cage rig you can put your camera inside that will give you lots of quarter-20 mounting points so you can mount accessories like a monitor or a microphone, LED light, batteries, all kinds of stuff like that. The more you kind of pimp out your camera, the more you're going to need to have somewhere to mount all this stuff. And it's not just going to cut it if you're using something really simple like just a quick release plate on your tripod. You're going to need these extra points. And this is actually the Frugal Stabilizer 2 that you may recognize from a previous video, like when you see on the screen right now, which is what I use to replace my PVC stabilizer. But I think I've found that it's actually a better cage rig than it is an actual stabilizer. At least I've been using it more for that. So I just kind of wanted to show you what I had come up with. There's actually, when I was doing research on this, I found an inexpensive cage rig on eBay for about $50. And it provided, surrounded the camera with an aluminum base cheese plate, basically mounts all over the place so you could mount all different things. It had a rail system, it had a top handle, and it was $50. A pretty good deal. You can find that link below as well. But I thought, I've already got this and it does mostly what I want. Plus that rig was built for a Canon 5D Mark III, and my camera is actually a lot smaller. It's a Sony NEX5N, so I think it would look pretty silly sitting inside that huge rig that was not made for it. But this is a little more compact. I can tailor it better for my camera, and I've already got it, so I thought I didn't necessarily want to spend the $50, but this is going to run about, the base unit is kind of about $30, so I do save $20. Could probably save more if I leave some of this stuff off, but you'll have to judge for yourself whether or not you want to do this, or what, if you do this, what you would like to add to it or not add to it. So I'm just going to show you what I did to modify this to make it more of a cage rig and less of a stabilizer. If you're interested in how to make the Frugal Stabilizer 2 or the Frugal Cage, because it's based around the same basic idea, which is using two pairs of flash brackets, aluminum flash brackets that I got on eBay, to kind of assemble together sort of a frame or a cage that goes around the camera. So follow the link below to the Frugal Stabilizer 2, and I'll show you how to assemble this. It's really easy, not complex at all. All the parts come with it, which is essentially these aluminum brackets and these plastic knobs that are quarter-20 thread, male on one end and female on the other, so that you can have, once you even attach your accessories, you still have those threads on the back to mount more stuff. Which leads to my first modification, which is that I replaced two of the knobs here that had plastic threads with those that had metal threads. You can get these for about $1.50 on eBay. And the metal threads are nice because when you're screwing accessories in and out of them, they're not going to strip out as quickly as plastic would. In fact, you have to try really hard, I think, to destroy these threads versus the plastic ones, which will destroy or come apart or strip out really easily. So that's the first thing I did. Got two of them for about $3, which I think I actually had these laying around, but if you want to get them new, you can get them on eBay for about $1.50 each. The next thing I did to make it more like a true cage rig was that I added this top handle here, which I discovered how to do from YouTuber Chung Dha. He basically took a mini ball head and mounted one of these foam camera grips to it. Again, it's one of those really easy constructions. He then mounted it to his rig. He's got a very similar rig, but it's also built out of flash brackets. It's kind of a different style, and I can give you a link to his video below as well. You should check it out. He's got a lot of great stuff on his channel, actually. But I took his idea and put it on my rig here because it was a good idea, and that was about $10 to make the whole thing. I actually did one thing that was a little different. I added this knurled nut on the end of the foam handle here because I had this quarter-20 thread sticking out and didn't want to catch on anything, so I wanted to cover it. And I used one of these knurled nuts that I got from a cold shoe mount, which was about a little over $1. But I love these. I use these on a lot of rigs because they're just kind of a fancy quarter-20 nut that you can put on your rig, and it looks really nice. So that's what I did to cover the thread, and it does so nicely, and it looks like it actually belongs there. So that's the other thing that I did. The next thing I did to make this rig a little more cagey was that I wanted to lock down my camera in the rig so that it didn't move around as much, because when you're pulling focus or doing anything, pulling focus mostly is going to move your camera around. If it's not just firmly anchored in the cage here, it's not going to work as well. So I wanted to take my quick release plate that was mounted here and move it more toward the wall or the side of the flash bracket so that this camera strap mount here would actually touch the side of the bracket, so it would be just more locked in, more solid. Now, one thing I had to do to make that more effective was I just didn't want to slam this into the side of the bracket because these are slick surfaces and they're going to move around. So I stuck a piece of spiky Velcro, the spiky side of Velcro in here, so that this would kind of lodge itself into the Velcro when I mounted it like so. So now the strap mount is pushed into the spiky Velcro on the side, and it's locked in firmly. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be a nice solid base with which to do things like pull focus. And the other thing that I did actually as a byproduct of that, when I was moving the camera closer, moving the quick release plate closer within the cage and moving it right into the side of the flash bracket, was that the knob that attaches the quick release plate is now sitting directly on top of the tripod. I'm going to take this out here. I'm going to kind of show you more what I'm talking about here. Is that originally when I built this, is I put this, I have a Manfrotto 501 head here, a Bogan 501 head, and it's got, they're longer, very familiar looking quick release plate here, and it was mounted on my rig. There's a nice threaded hole that I can attach it to on the flash bracket. And so when I mounted this, it was great, but it was off to one side of the cage rig so that it would give it some flex when I would put anything else like the camera on this side. It was just kind of flexing, even though this is all sturdy aluminum. But now, since I moved my quick release plate here closer that way, it was actually now, instead of missing the tripod head surface here, it was actually sitting on top of the tripod surface, and I was worried that it wasn't going to fit actually at all. But now this knob sits on the tripod head right next to the quick release plate. So when I put it in, I've actually got 2 points of contact. I've got the quick release plate attached to the bracket, and then the knob here sitting on top of the tripod head on this side. So now it's really just locked in really well, and it's not going to go anywhere. There's a little bit of a flex still, but that's more the tripod head itself. But it's much better than it was before. So that was something that I did, that the third thing actually that made it more of a cage rig and more effective by keeping the camera just as steady as possible. So that's about it. I mean, the rest of this is kind of a niche, just like the original Frugal Stabilizer 2. I've got this side piece here that gives me more mounting points here to mount an audio recorder or batteries or whatever. But this also, you'll see in the future, because I figured out a way how to mount a follow focus unit, the actual knob, the retail knob, that's normally attached to rails onto a standard camera cage. It will actually fit on here and work with my camera, which is something I'm going to do in the future and show you how to do that, because I'm going to be reviewing that follow focus unit and show you how it fits to the Frugal Cage. In fact, I've got several things that I'm going to review. After my review, I'm going to show you how they fit onto the Frugal Cage, because everything is now kind of fitting on here. I've got all kinds of things, like I have a camera shade to block flares out of the lens. I've got an inexpensive HD monitor that I found, just things like that, microphone, etc., that I'm going to show you how they all fit onto this rig after I review them. So that's pretty much it. This is something that I've been kind of working on for a little while, and it's just kind of coming together really well. And so if this is something that you can use, hopefully you won't have to spend a lot of money to invest in a big camera cage if possible. If you do, great. I'm going to leave a link to that one I mentioned previously on eBay. But stay tuned so I can show you all these different accessories that are going to fit on this rig, and they fit rather well, and I'm really excited about sharing them with you. So if you want to check out any other projects, DIY stuff or filmmaking techniques or movies, short films, whatever, check out my website. It's my blog at thefrugalfilmmaker.com. Also, be sure you check out the Facebook group. A lot of great people there who can answer your questions and help you with stuff. And there's Twitter and the YouTube channel, of course. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.